what's the real problem facing the borrower for microcredit? Is it access to funds, or is it the interest rate?
The major problem facing the customer, the typical client of microfinance, is access to financial services. They're excluded. They don't have access whatsoever.
So if I have access, but the interest rate is 120%, is that good?
Oh, it depends on what are you doing. You see, don't you forget too that most of these.
But that means I have to have profit of more than 120%.
Sure.
Because 120% is the cost of funds and cost of my business.
You find out, Doc, that most of these are small businesses that also have high operating margins.
Okay.
You know, and because of the high operating margins, they can also afford the relatively higher cost of
So
funding.
that means then that you're skewed to certain sectors of the economy then. I mean, you wouldn't be able to succeed in agriculture, can you?
Oh, in fact, that's where we are going to. Who says so? Agriculture is very profitable.
140%?
It's very profitable. No, you put in a rate in my mouth. I've not told you that I lend 140. No way.
Yeah.
You know, that is way above.
I'm not aware. I know that we're not here to talk about your bank, but
no, yes, exactly.
Okay, I know, but I know that you guys do pretty well. I know that you guys charge very low rate.
Yeah.
You know, so I can just mention that. But there are some banks, some microfinance banks that are charging upwards of 75% a year.
Again,
that means I have to have a profit margin of like 100% to be able to pay back.
Correct. And you see sometimes that's why most of these microfinance banks have very high default rates, and they use unorthodox methods to try to recover, you know, the bad debts. You know, that was what I said about your model.
Yeah.
You must get that model right. Once you get the model wrong, then everything is wrong ab initio. You know, so that kind of usurious race, that's for the money Shylock money lenders in those areas. You know, that's essentially what we have come to do, to make sure that those, you know, evil or bad trace of money lending will remove entirely.
So in that case, what areas, where are the sectors that microfinance institutions are looking at today in Nigeria?
If you look at it from experience, you find that mostly it's in trading.
Okay.
And then small business enterprises, SMEs. So trading and small business enterprises.
What trade?
Vulcanizers.
You go to Dubai and buy something and you sell. Is that good for the economy?
No. Who said you go to Dubai to buy?
Where do they go?
You don't have markets in Onitsha. You don't have markets here in Lagos. You don't have markets in Kano. Depends on what you are going to buy. If you want to go and buy this Guinea material or something, what are you going to do? Go to market and get it. You want to buy shoes, you want to buy shirts and clothing, go to Aba and get them. So the markets are here. You don't have to go outside. In fact, employment, it boosts employment, job creation, you know, and creates wealth within the system. That's one of the reasons why microfinance activity should actually be encouraged by the government. And I'm happy that right now you see the government is beginning to do, because previously, most policymakers never even understood what microfinance meant, because there was this mistaken impression that poor people can't save. You know, they are living from hand to mouth anyways. How would they save? And that was wrong, because they only needed to look at the Esusu collection. You know, my grandmother in those days, every day they are paying something to show you they are saving. All we needed to do was use modern techniques of modern microfinance banking, the same Esusu, to bring it into the mainstream, instead of out there in an informal market, and mainstream these people.
So these guys come in mostly as cooperatives, or can they come in as individuals?
Yes, both. Depends on the business strategy of the micro institution involved.
Okay.
They could come in as individuals, they come as groups, and they could come in. People have different proportions. Some are weighed to the groups, some, you know, weighed towards individuals. I know ASA, for instance, SA, which is the in terms of operating expense, supposed to be the least cost operating microfinance in the world. They emphasize on individual borrowers, but then you have
where was this? When was
ASA is Bangladesh.
Okay.
Yes, they're the leading low-cost provider of microfinance services. They focus in individuals.
Okay.
They still set up groups, but they lend to individuals in the group. But when you look at something like BRAC, You know,
Okay, yeah.
also in individual, you find out Bragg, the folk and Grammy, they focus on groups.
Are those? Can you also call those non-profit microfinance institutions, or they're just for profit?
They're for profit.
Okay, there's no non-profit part of it.
I hardly do think that the days of non-profit microfinance institutions, I think those days are gone. That was when you were getting grants and behaving like Father Christmases. Yeah. And then,
no, but they pay back though. I mean, you're not paying back
hardly,
interest. Yeah.
No, hardly, because people saw them as entitlements, and most of them were subsidized credit anyway. So you distort the market.
If you look at the industry, I think we've kind of determined, from the very brilliant contribution here that the industry is good, that the microfinance industry is helping development in the country, helping businesses, and therefore in turn helping to create jobs and all of that. So what can we do as a nation to shore it up, to concretize these activities, to buoy it up, to make it more successful, so that it brings more contribution to the economy?
I think I'll start by saying that the government has a major role to play. And then in telling the government what can be done, let me tell them what is in need for them.
Okay.
Because through microfinancing, bottom of pyramid, financial intermediation, you find out people get out of poverty. You are taking families out of poverty and improving their lifestyle. You are taking small-sized businesses and making them grow bigger. So what they are doing at the end is like you are mainstreaming them from the informal to the formal sector. They get into the tax bracket. So they get into the GDP, so GDP increases, your tax revenues increase, there's the educational standard also improve because they can now get affordable education for their children and all whatnot. Job creation, there's gender equalization because more women now will come in
participating.
So for all these benefits.
But by the way, I can't fail to ask you, do you get more women than men in microfinancing?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. There's the cooperatives in fact that cooperative is almost 95% women.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. So you find for all these benefits, government should do more than pay just lip service to that sector. There should be incentives, one like tax holidays, because most of the microfinance banks, they are in the rural areas, no light, no water. They provide their generators, non-generators, already on a very high transaction cost. Yeah. It's killing them. Yeah. So the government might say 5-year tax holiday for these microfinance banks. Government can also, it's a win-win situation where they build roads, they get votes from people in that area, and then businesses improve. And the cost of production will also decline. So that is, and then funding.
And they send their kids to school.
And they send their
because they got money.
Agricultural produce can easily be brought back to the urban centers without perishing the farmlands there, So, but the major thing now is even funding. Two factors are necessary for microfinance to really flourish. One is strong microeconomic activity. The second is strong capital supply. We have this because we have a population very high. Sure. So now what we need is a strong capital supply. Government has been trying through some intervention funds, but they ask you, bring brand guarantee, bring this, and most of these microfinance practitioners are not in position to provide the collateral because remember, they are lending to people without fiscal collateral. So asking them to bring collateral again, it's a double.
So where will the government get the money from to give to you?
Is
it the lending to you you're talking or giving to you? Which one?
It's only just implementing what is already on ground.
Okay.
In the microfinance policy framework, for instance, the local governments are supposed to bring 1% of their budgets and make it available to microfinance banks within their local government.
Give it to them.
In a pool.
What's making it? You mean lend to you or give to you?
They put it in
what they call dash in Nigeria.
They put it in a pool. Put it in a pool. Yeah. And from that pool, they are giving to all lending, as you say, to microfinance bank within that locality, knowing the money is coming back.
Is that gift that is troubling me? They lend to you.
Doc, call it lend. Okay. I'm saying what the policy states that microfinance, the local governments should contribute. Yes. Should contribute 1% of their budget.
Yes, actually, I'm aware of it. I know.
But it's there on paper. It has never been implemented. So where is the funding going to come from? You see, because there's a public lack of confidence in the microfinance subsector for now. And it's only the few ones who can get funding from abroad that are really doing well. Majority of them who will have to depend on savings and deposits from within. They don't. Because when you want to deposit, you say, oh, well, we commercial bank, you're going to make a deposit. But when you want to borrow, the commercial bank will say, no, you're a micro entrepreneur. Go to the micro bank and go and take a loan. Now, where would the loan money come from? From the loan.
You know, this issue that you mentioned about borrowing from overseas, the microfinance institutions getting funding from overseas, is something that I have to call you back for next time.
Okay.
But I know it's serious in the sense that even then, you and I talked about this before we came on the set, that even then, the interest rate that you face in that regard is hiked
very high
by the hedging
because of the hedging costs, because of the high sovereign risk rating of Nigeria.
Yes.
Otherwise, LIBOR plus a spread, very cheap. But when you add the high hedging cost, sovereign risk of Nigeria, is in double digits.
We will have to talk about that next time.
We'll do that.
Mr. Okoye, I want to thank you so very much. You are wonderful.
Thank you, Doctor.
Great job.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Appreciate it.